Our hero Maple makes plans to play a VR game with her friend Sally, but she's unavailable, so Maple starts the New World online fantasy game. She doesn't want to get hurt, so she chooses overpowered defense stats and then travels to a fantasy land which is extremely realistic. She meets a girl named Frederica and her friend Drag, who tell her to go to the forest to increase her stats. Our hero comes across a little bunny that keeps attacking her, but nothing happens because her defense is too high. Eventually, the bunny vanishes and Maple cries out of sadness. Next up is a monster bee that can poison her, but she manages to build up some immunity and tricks the bee into getting stabbed by her knife. Maple falls asleep after checking out her stats once again, but is attacked by tons of insects during her sleep. Luckily, she defeats them and goes back to the real world, but realizes she still has some homework to do. The next day, Maple meets a warrior named Kuromu. He takes her to a girl named Iz, who mentions a dragon dungeon. Maple happily heads into the dungeon and comes across some slimes, but manages to slice through them with ease. Eventually, she comes across an overpowered dragon with 3 heads. The Hydra-Dragon unleashes its poison blast on our hero, but she keeps using potions to recover her HP. Now the dragon attacks Maple, but her defense is too high for it. She doesn't have any attack powers, but quickly realizes that she can eat the dragon's flesh. Maple manages to eat the entire dragon and makes it her pet. Defeating the dragon gives her an ancient armor as well, so Maple can finally fight monsters. Back in the real world, Maple bumps into Sally while trying to figure out a way to increase her agility. The next day, she participates in a battle tournament and becomes a sensation. The warrior girl is able to use her new cheat code to summon the Hydra-Dragon as well, and she uses its powers to attack all the other players. Now a cute demon tells her that she needs to maintain her stats to become a top 3 player, and she does so with ease, as no one can break through her defense. She places 3rd and has a word with Sally about it, making her excited about the game. Now Sally becomes Maple's teammate to help make up for her lack of agility. She carries Maple on her back as they make their way to a fishing dungeon. Sally is able to go through multiple halls and she gains a fishing skill, much to Maple's jealousy. Now Sally decides to go for a swim but comes across an overpowered water dragon. A fierce battle follows where Sally uses up all her powers, but she's running out of time to catch her breath. Luckily, she unleashes all her sword skills to beat the dragon's water blast. Sally passes out for a bit, but manages to get her hands on a treasure chest that gives her a strong armor. Back in the real world, Maple and Sally talk about the advantages of using AI in their game. Our hero thinks about using her Hydra-Dragon in a war against soldiers and gets excited to reach the next level. The team returns to the fantasy world and spots a couple of cute sisters, May and Yui. They go to a cafe for some sweets and bump into Dragon Dread, who placed 2nd in the tournament. The men talk about the ultimate warrior pain and mention another event happening soon. The girls learn about a spooky forest where they can go for more rewards, so Sally instinctively takes Maple there. However, there are too many ghosts here, and Sally gets scared like a little chicken. The girls reach a spooky cabin in the woods where they find a man bound to a chair. Sally uses her healing powers multiple times and manages to free him, but he's shown to be a ghost who is now free. The girls continue their journey and Sally decides to use a fireball to light up the area. Then they reach a tunnel leading to the next level and are attacked by wild boars and a giant bear. Luckily, they use their defense and mirage powers to fend them off. After crossing the tunnel, the girls run into a giant deer beast, which is too powerful for them. Maple unleashes her Hydra-Dragon to attack the beast, and it does some damage. But then Maple gets knocked out by the deer monster. Luckily, Sally is able to defeat the monster in a thrilling sequence because of the earlier damage caused by the Hydra-Dragon. Now the girls reach the land of level 2, where Iz is already waiting for them. The next day, the girls meet Kurumu and also come across a Flame Emperor group, which is led by a redhead girl, Mi. Sally and Maple are now transported to a magical land for the 2nd tournament. Maple falls through a trap illusion, and Sally spots her after putting her face through the soil. The girls go through this underground tunnel, where they are suddenly attacked by a giant clown demon. It's way too strong for them, but Maple unleashes her Hydra-Dragon once more to defeat the clown demon with its poison blast. Sally is amazed to see this cheat code, and then the girls go back to the top. It becomes snowy, and then they meet Kuromu and his team. The men are looking for some medals, so the girls allow them to go through a portal in front of them first. The portal opens once again, so Sally and Maple enter it as well. Here, they find themselves in an ice cave and are attacked by an ice phoenix. An intense battle follows and the girls use their best moves on it. Maple sends her Hydra-Dragon to bite the ice phoenix, but it doesn't do much damage. Regardless, the girls team up and attack the ice phoenix with all their might. The Hydra-Dragon tries a poison blast this time, and it does some damage, but also turns the Phoenix into a demonic beast. The girls don't give up hope, and Maple awakens her new shield power to keep them safe. After a fierce encounter, the Demon Phoenix is subdued, and the Hydra-Dragon unleashes a finisher move to defeat it once and for all. The girls find some Phoenix eggs and medals as their reward and move forward. At the same time, they are being watched by rabbit people who are amazed to see how the girls were able to overcome the Ice Phoenix. Later, the eggs hatch and the girls get new pets in the form of a firefox and an iron turtle. They use their pets to fight other monsters and then run into a girl warrior named Kasumi. She wants the gold medal our heroes have gotten, so she unleashes her super speed, and Sally chases after her, leaving the slowpoke Maple behind. Sally and Kasumi engage in a brief battle, but Maple breaks up the fight in a hilarious fashion, and the girls fall through a trapdoor. They get tied to each other by some bonding chains and figure they need to get out of this mess together. The girls come across some snail monsters, so Sally and Kasumi use their super speed to evade them. Kasumi also uses her ultimate sword technique to lift Maple into the exit spot. The girls come across a treasure chest and gets out of the trap after getting their medals. Kasumi becomes friends with our heroes and then she bids them farewell. Days pass by with the girls winning medal after medal in somewhat hilarious fashion. One day, Maple and Sally meet a girl named Kanade, who informs them about the Akshik records and some treasure ruins. Maple and Sally finds the ruins and make their way inside, but are taken to an underwater land, where they are attacked by a water demon. Normally, attacks don't work on it, so Maple unleashes her Hydra-Dragon once more, to spread poison all over the water and kill the water demon. Now Sally sets out for a mission to collect medals, while Maple takes care of their pets. She uses her speed and sword skills to defeat multiple players and take their medals. She returns to Maple, and then they meet Kasumi inside a cave. The girls team up and learn of a new adventure, so Maple bloats up her iron turtle to give them a ride. Back at the real world, Maple has a hard time dealing with her physical limitations, getting smacked while thinking she still has her defense stats. The girls go back to the fantasy world and look for some houses where they can stay together. During their search, the girls talk about Pain, who is rumored to have reached level 60. Our heroes finally find a treehouse and turn it into their guild. They invite Kasumi and Kanade to join their guild, and also convince Kuromu and Iz to do the same. Everyone agrees, and they also make Maple their guild leader. The new team travels on the Iron Turtle and enter a cave where they come across some monsters. A thrilling sequence follows where the team faces off against monsters and everyone shows off their skill sets. After a team meeting, our heroes realize that they need to get more guild members. During their search, Maple spots Yui and Mei, so she recruits them. After a fruitful discussion, the girls enter a cave for a practice round. Here, they come across a deer monster, and Sally uses her clone move to distract it. The deer monster uses a fire blast, so Sally uses her fireball to counter it. She eventually comes out on top, and then the sisters are introduced to the guild. Yui and Mei greet everyone, but accidentally bump their heads into the table and break it. That's when Kurumu identifies that the sisters have super strength. Now the team fights an overpowered dragon, so the sisters hold it down. Then Maple unleashes her own Hydra-Dragon to defeat it with ease. She gains a new poison ball power that helps her move quickly, and then the girls take care of multiple dragons one after the other. Iz gives Mei and Yui some crystal hammers for added attack powers, while Kurumu sets off on a separate journey with the Iron Turtle. While our heroes defeat monsters outside, Kanade discovers she can restore mana with the Akshik records. Meanwhile, Kurumu enters the grave of the dead and uses his own powers to defeat a monster. He comes across an overpowered demon armor and uses it to become the ultimate warrior. Later, Maple finds a sick girl and takes her mom to the forest to get the right medicine. However, the sick girl gets possessed by a demon when she is given her old ring, so our hero has to use her Hydra-Dragon to fight off the demons lurking inside her. The sick girl is finally cured, and then Maple is blessed with angel armor. This makes her blonde and also gives her the ability to protect her team with a holy aura. Meanwhile, the other players research on how to defeat Maple's guild. Iz makes some cute woolen outfits for the girls, and it makes Kurumu gaze upon them with desire. Regardless, he continues using his demon armor to defeat more monsters. Maple acts clumsily and falls down a cliff into a mysterious forest. Here she comes across a church and enters it. She gets attacked by a demon knight who is clearly overpowered. However, she uses a woolen shield and awakens her Iron Turtle to attack it. However, the demon knight turns into a devil monster and brutally attacks her. Maple gets swallowed, but she turns the tables and eats her way out of trouble once again. The competition gets more interesting now, with Maple's guild closing in on the top spot. To reach the next level, the team has to defeat a giant tree monster, but Maple dominates it easily by unleashing her new demon dragon. Everyone watches on in amazement as the demon dragon brutally dominates the tree monster and beats it with ease. The team now passes into a machine city, which is full of pollution. Maple helps an old man who tells her about the machine god of this world. She decides to meet the machine god, who awakens and attacks her instinctively. Maple beats him with her iron turtle, but he bestows his powers upon her before he gets possessed by a robot demon. Maple struggles at first, but manages to awaken her new machine god powers to become the ultimate robot warrior. She takes down the robot demon with ease, but is shocked to see what she has now become. Our hero shows off her new tech powers by unleashing a machine gun blast, and it amazes her team. Later, Sally bumps into Frederica and engages in a fierce battle with her. It's about to get interesting, but Frederica willingly surrenders and flies away. Then the team is told that their next task is essentially a battle for orbs where they must aim to attack and defend at the same time. This prompts everyone to come up with a detailed battle plan so that they don't expose any of their secrets to the enemy. The competition begins, with Kurumu attacking some of the opposing warriors, and then the rest of the team joins in on the fun. A hectic sequence follows where Sally steals orb while the others fight their opponents. Eventually, Sally bumps into Dread and they begin a fierce duel. It gets tough for Sally, but Dread escapes after seeing her powers. Meanwhile, Mi unleashes her flame tornado to take down some opponents. However, she loses some orbs and starts crying like a baby. Pain also steals a ton of orbs and defeats multiple opponents with a slash of his sword. He is disappointed with the power levels of his opponents, but has high hopes for Maple to give him a good fight. Sally sets out to get more orbs, but pushes herself a bit too hard. Kaneda decides to step in and uses her demon hand to get some orbs as well. Sally grows tired, but unleashes a fire blast to make an escape. However, she gets confronted by some knights later on. Meanwhile, Kurumu takes down multiple fighters using his new God of Death armor. Sally tries to run away from the knights, but gets confronted by Frederica as well. Luckily, Maple arrives and uses her angel powers to help her. Our hero uses a combination of all her different dragons to dominate the army, but Dread uses the distraction to attack her base. He defeats Mei and Yui, but Maple arrives and easily beats him with her dragons before he can steal her orbs. Meanwhile, Kazumi faces off against Mii's overpowered soldiers and eventually defeats him using her sword void tactic. Sally finally gets some rest, and then Maple sets our collecting orbs using her iron turtle for fast transportation. Now our heroes go to attack Mii's guild. The Fire Queen unleashes her flame blast, but Maple manages to hold it off with her angel shield. Things get tough, but then Maple unleashes her dragons to counter her opponents. The battle rages on, but then Maple unleashes her Hydra-Dragon on Mii. But then the Flame Queen is giving an antidote to recover. With no other choice, Mii unleashes her Flame Prison on Maple, but then our hero unleashes her Machine God mode to dominate her opponents. She unleashes a finisher blast, but Mii is protected by her assistants, who sacrifice themselves to save her. Mii gives it everything and unleashes a fire explosion to sacrifice herself. But Maple survives it and continues her journey to get more orbs. The Flame Queen gets revived, but is shocked to learn that Maple walked out of her most powerful move. Later, Pain decides to invade Maple's base with Frederica and his team. The top guilds face off in an ultimate duel, but even Maple is easily dominated by the Pro Knight. She tries her Angel mode, but gets beaten down by Pain's Sword of Judgment. With only 1 HP left, Maple calls upon her Hydra-Dragon, but Pain uses his sword once more to counter it. He even defeats Iz in the process while Kurumu takes on Drag by himself. It doesn't look good, as Pain beats everyone with ease, and then he uses his Sword of Destruction on Maple. She counters him with her Machine God Cannon, but he survives the blast. Now both warriors give it their all, and Maple unleashes her Ultra Dragon Demon upon Pain. After a brief battle, she manages to defeat him and takes down all his other guild members with ease. Maple decides to remain in her dragon mode for now because she can only transform once a day. Using this advantage, the team takes down guild after guild to gain more orbs. Meanwhile, Pain and his team are revived, and they try to make things interesting. Mii and her team also take down some guilds, but then Maple arrives in her dragon form. Despite her dominance, she spares the Fire Queen because she wants her to take down other guilds. Now, Dragon Maple makes several clones of herself and takes over the fantasy world, much to Pain's amazement. A thrilling sequence of battle follows, and the bunny people decide to make a highlights video because the competition is practically over. Maple's team places third, and they celebrate with the guilds of Mii and Pain. It's time for the next tournament, and everyone prepares for another exciting journey. That's the end of Season 1. Like, share, and subscribe for Season 2's update. See you soon!